Okay, round two. Name something that's not boring.
A laundry? Ooh, a book club. Computer solitaire, huh?
Ah, sorry, we were looking for Chumba Casino. That's right, ChumbaCasino.com has over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
New to thisisfunner.com, Cobbler's Gulch.
In Cobbler's Gulch, the following words are never coupled with thoughts or memories or feelings of goblins and witches. Birthday cake.
Happy, happy birthday.
Love.
I love you.
Good-hearted laughter.
Oh my gosh.
Or chocolate fondue.
Yum.
These words, however, are nearly always coupled with talk of goblins and witches. Treacherous. Maleficence. Malfeasance. Maliciousness. Most mal words, to be quick about it. Oozy. Smoked oysters. And wickedness. Unfortunately, goblins and witches are exactly what Cobbler's Gulch orphan Hazel Peachwood must deal with.
I got this.
When she commits to rescuing a recently kidnapped local fairy with nothing but the help of her 7 orphan brothers.
Good boys. All 7 of them.
Cobbler's Gulch, an episodic podcast that brings to mind words like adventure, friendship, and yes, goblins and witches. Subscribe now. If you don't, there's a better than even chance that a witch will poke out your eyeballs.
Listen now at thisisfunner.com or wherever you get your podcasts. This one's my favorite.
This is funner.
Hey, what's going on? It's Chris Donovan here. This is 10 Squared, and let's get into it. All right, this week's episode is about Cobra Kai Season 3 that is currently on Netflix. Now, the first 2 seasons were released on YouTube TV and then picked up by Netflix, and then they took it and put a lot more money into it, and now you have Season 3. Just a heads up, there are going to be spoilers, so let's get into it. So in the beginning of Season 3, Johnny Lawrence, who is the blonde dude with the bandana, and Daniel-san, or Daniel LaRusso, have competing dojos. A dojo is a place where people that practice karate go and practice. So they're called Cobra Kai and Miyagi-Do karate. So the kids on both sides are fighting all the time. Johnny's son and Daniel's daughter are trying to keep the peace within their kids and themselves, all while being sabotaged by John Kreese, who's Johnny's old sensei from the very first Karate Kid movie back in 1984. This all happens, and Daniel-san finds time to take a trip to Okinawa and visit some old friends. So that's basically what happens in a nutshell.
Wax on, wax off.
The acting in the series is really good. They all realize that they are kind of reliving their glory days. I mean, Johnny and Daniel-san. And this is their characters, and they kind of play a parody of themselves. And the kids have their own story, and they're growing off this Cobra Kai franchise. So, honestly, it's great for adults or kids because there's both of those storylines holding you in place.
An enemy deserves no mercy. What is the problem, Mr. Lawrence?
Episode 1. This is where they pick up the pieces from the kids' big fight in the end of episode 2, which landed Miguel, who is Cobra Kai, in the hospital, and Robbie, Miyagi-Do, and also Johnny's son, missing. It's a really good episode. Again, picking up all the pieces from season 2, so a lot of things are coming to an end in this episode. Episode 2 is the episode that's a buddy cop movie that I didn't even know I wanted until my 6-year-old self saw it. Daniel and Johnny are teamed up to find Robbie, which they do, and he goes to jail, and then John Kreese's sabotage starts. This episode was hilarious because it was literally Daniel-san and Johnny. Daniel and Johnny. I don't know if I keep saying Daniel-san. I think I'm Miyagi or something. Daniel and Johnny are in the car driving around town trying to find Robbie with silly, witty, not so funny, sometimes really hilarious comments to each other. It's so much fun. You got to check it out. It's like Tango and Cash if they knew each other when they were kids. All right, in episode 3, this has Daniel in the process of losing his car dealership because the fighting dojos. You'll have to watch it to get all the details, but basically somebody's trying to take over his dealership. Johnny's raising money for Miguel's surgery so he can walk again, and all this is happening, and the kids are fighting at school. They don't know how to not fight at school. So hopefully that'll stop here soon. Episode 4, the kids are still fighting. Did I not just say that? Robbie's finally in jail, and he's learning to make his path. Johnny tries to go and reconnect with Robbie, and this is the start of Daniel's trip to Okinawa. He shows up there and realizes that Tomi Village has turned into a strip mall, or at least is the biggest attraction after the military left. So this episode's really, really cool because Daniel-san does go back to Okinawa. He does find out that Tomi Village is this strip mall, but it's where the military was. The village is still there. It's kind of in the outskirts. He goes and sees his old girlfriend, who never got married, and also his arch nemesis, but we'll get to that in a little bit. He shows up. It's great. So this episode sets all of that up for Daniel to be in Okinawa while Johnny is running around trying to make Miguel walk, and he's trying to raise money, and he's doing it his way, which is not the best way to approach somebody not being able to walk. Episode 5. This episode has my child self freaking out even more because Daniel's in Okinawa. He finds his old girlfriend that he almost died fighting to the death for, Komiko. It's the same actress, too. It's so awesome. And we find out that she's still dancing, which was her passion in the second Karate Kid movie. They go to lunch, and they all have a conversation where they discuss how she never married and no one else would fight to the death for her, which is quite funny. So she didn't get married kind of thing. And the whole conversation was riddled with references like that. And then Chozen, Daniel's arch enemy in Okinawa, shows up. It's Chozen. She makes them hang out. So Daniel and Chozen are going around town looking at stuff. He's showing a bunch of old things, a bunch of new things, all while being super grumpy looking the whole time. So he's like, it's like he's holding a grudge against Daniel-san is what it looks like, really bad. They both did, however, train with Miyagi-Do karate because Miyagi's dad trained both him and Sato, and then Sato's student is Chozen, and that all makes sense if you watch the movie. So, long story short, they end up fighting. Daniel ends up learning some new skills, and Chozen gets to honk Daniel's nose like he did to him at the end of the second movie. As soon as he did that, he said, "I've been waiting to do that for years, and I died." This was so hilarious. That instantly Chozen, his demeanor turned into not being so bitter and grumpy, and they had a pretty good time. And all while that's happening, Johnny takes Miguel in a wheelchair to a Dee Snider concert. This was one of the best episodes because it had my 84, 85, 6-year-old, 7-year-old, 8-year-old self freaking out about Okinawa. All right, episode 6. In this episode, John Kreese is taking over Cobra Kai. His plan is all happening in the background of every episode, and now it's like to the forefront. Johnny is just trying to get Miguel healthy, and while helping Miguel helps Johnny learn Facebook and write to Allie. If you know Allie, she's the girl from the first movie, Elizabeth Shue, duh. Daniel and his wife notice what Kreese is doing, trying to take over Cobra Kai, and then they try to go in and get Cobra Kai shut down. Now, this episode is kind of one of those tweener episodes, but it's really good because the Johnny and Miguel story is quite hilarious because they make it seem like Johnny is like dumb, like super dumb. But Miguel is like the new kid trying to teach him how to do Facebook, so it's quite funny. Episode 7, Daniel finds out that his daughter Sam is really afraid of the girl that cut her in season 2. You have to see the finale of season 2 to see that. He tries to do the Miyagi/Daniel thing to her and takes her out, but she's not going for it. And at this time, Johnny realizes that Kreese has taken over Cobra Kai and starts his own dojo. So now there's 3 dojos, but the name of his team is Eagle Fangs or something like that, a bird with teeth, which does not make sense. Anyway, this episode sets up the next 3 episodes, which are really great.
Eagles don't have fangs.
All right, episode 8. So now all 3 of the men, children, and real children are fighting. They cancel the All Valley tournament, but they all go to the city council meeting and try to get it reinstated. This is when everybody knows that they're against Kreese. Oh, I forgot to mention, when Daniel's in Okinawa, he meets the little girl that he saves from that pole in the second movie, from that big storm. Yeah, so he meets her, and she's a lovely young lady, same actress, it's really great, but she just happens to be the vice president of the dealership, or the auto company that Daniel's dealership is under, so she kind of helps him keep that dealership.
Mercy is for the weak.
All right, episode 9, this is an awesome one, because Ellie shows up. Elizabeth Shue, yay! Her and Johnny reconnected, and they go to golf and stuff like her and Daniel did in the first movie. She actually wins the air hockey game and reacts the exact same way if you were a nerd like me. It's great, even though it's the last time that she was with Daniel in the first movie, I guess. But the episode's just a bunch of callbacks. It's so good that it's all callbacks to the movies. While all that's happening and they're hanging out, reconnecting, Cobra Kai kids are on a mission to crash the other dojo's party. Now, the other 2 dojos have teamed up at this time against Cobra Kai or John Kreese, and that's why they're hanging out together. And a big fight breaks out. Kreese, however, has control of Cobra Kai, and he recruits some really bad kids that went with him, which was not good. This episode's really good. It really opens up for the finale. It happens in the next episode, and Allie's there, and they go to golf and stuff, and it's amazing. Need I say more? All right, episode 10. So the kids are kicking each other's asses, and Daniel and his wife end up having dinner with Allie and Johnny at the Encino Country Club, where the first movie took place. Remember where Daniel got all that spaghetti pushed all over his jacket? Yeah, that happened there. With that being said, they're all telling stories about them being kids, and you hear Allie say, shower and PJ skeleton. So I'll get to those in a few minutes, but there's so many references to the movie again. It's so great. After dinner, Johnny goes to confront Kreese because he has Robbie now. Robbie's bounced over to Cobra Kai and trusts John Kreese now. And he starts fighting. They fight. Johnny's doing okay. Kreese has a moment. Robbie gets hurt. Johnny is starting to lose. Daniel's son shows up. So now Johnny and Daniel are fighting Kreese. Again, another moment in my childhood I did not know I wanted. Some of the Cobra Kai kids are doing good. The Mohawk guy is doing quite well, but he decides to jump ship. Now he's with Miyagi-Do. He's out of Cobra Kai because they're jerks and those new guys that showed up. And while the boys are being boys, Daniel's daughter is fighting the girl that hurt her from season 2 in Daniel's dojo. And to wrap it up, Kreese and Robbie are at Cobra Kai, and the Eagle Fangs and Miyagi-Do teamed up and are practicing in Miyagi's old backyard because they all agree to settle this at the tournament, just like the plot of the first movie. All right, my favorite part of the show is, every callback that could have happened to the movies was amazing. Allie is sitting down with Johnny and Daniel and his wife, and it cuts over to Daniel's wife, and she's like, how did you dress up like a shower? And then Allie goes and looks at her and goes, oh, no, wait, it gets better. Then this one, points over to Johnny, goes, comes running out of the bathroom, soaking wet, dressed in skeleton pajamas. It was awesome. Best way to put it. They do go to golf and stuff, which is awesome. Johnny wears a white jacket, and a waiter almost bumps into him at that Encino Country Club with a bunch of spaghetti. Johnny yells at him, what are you going to do with that spaghetti? I'm wearing white, man. Yeah, Elizabeth Shue's pretty dope. When he goes back to Okinawa, when Daniel's son goes back to Okinawa, he meets his arch nemesis, Chosen, meets his ex-girlfriend, Kumiko, and then he does meet that young lady, which is pretty dope. Oh, and then Chosen gets to honk his nose, which is so awesome. And not to mention, they do bring in some new moves. The moves that defeat your nemesis from moving. They're kind of like pressure points. It's pretty cool. You got to watch the whole show to get it, but they did it through a whole different type of, Miyagi-Do karate training. It's pretty dope. And not to mention, Daniel takes his daughter to the lake where he was doing his training with Miyagi. Remember when Miyagi goes, oh, Daniel-san, you're all wet. It's great. And they reference the crane kick being illegal. That was pretty cool. Favorite actor in the show is, I just have to say that I'm happy that I'm getting to relive a lot of my childhood dreams that I didn't know that I wanted. The adults are doing great, making fun of themselves, knowing that they kind of live in this fun little, I don't want to say parody, but fun little extension of their movies, what they did when they were younger. It's quite cool. And the kids in this show are next level. Not even the karate part of it, but the acting and everything. It's really, really good. I definitely recommend it. From 1 to 10 squared, I rate this one 10 squared, a perfect 100 on the scale for the show, mostly because I geeked out like a little kid. All right, guys, that's the end of the show. Thank you all for listening. Make sure you go to thisisfunner.com to find out all my other podcasts and all the other projects we're working on. And find me on Twitter, Chris_Donovan. Catch you later.
Okay, round 2. Name something that's not boring.
A laundry? Ooh, a book club. Computer solitaire, huh?
Ah, sorry, we were looking for Chumba Casino. That's right, ChumbaCasino.com has over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.